Hello everyone, welcome to Combat Ready HQ. Hope you are all well. I'm Craig, a former soldier in the British Army after serving 16 years within the Royal Artillery and the Household Cavalry Regiment. And today we're going to be discussing that you may be called up for war. That is everyone who's at fighting age. So, starting off, 3 in 10 soldiers are apparently, or 10 military personnel, are unfit to fight in a conflict amid growing military recruitment crisis. They reckon 30,000 personnel across all 3 services, Royal Navy, Royal Air Force and the British Army, are not fully fit for combat, with the Army worst hit. These are apparently the latest government figures. And to be honest, I believe it. That could be genuine cases, because you do get some seriously injured soldiers, whether that's through operations, exercise, physical training. Then you've just got the lazy ones who blag that they're unfit. You may have a few mental health issues in there as well. So hopefully they're getting themselves sorted. And you do have a few people, I think, who blag a few other issues. And then you've just got the unfit, unhealthy, fat, lazy ones. And to be honest, there's quite a few of them. Because it may not just be they're unfit medically, they are just unfit physically. You will be surprised at how many can't pass the standard RFTs or SCR, Soldier Condition Review. I know it's the review's not a test, but the amount of soldiers who will struggle to get it within the green ready for the RFTs. And even the RFTs, I feel, are a lot easier than the old AFT and PFT. They've made it easier and they still can't pass it. So within that 30,000, you're going to have medically sort of unfit, but you're also going to just have physically unfit personnel. That's astonishing, considering how small we are as a armed forces across all 3 services, especially the British Army. We've seen a massive sort of decrease in numbers, and we're set to see more, I believe. It's not good to see that there's possibly 30,000. How can we get around this? Actually use the soldier conditioning review correctly, review soldiers, assess where they're currently at, and then apply training to those weaknesses to then increase them into strengths. Actually use the SCR correctly, ready for when they do the RFTs. Secondly, just sort the lazy and fat ones out. We are too woke now. They do just get away with it. They say you can't punish them because it's against their sort of human rights. Nope. Punish them if you're not keeping up with the SCR or the RFTs, or you're struggling around work, or you're just struggling on standard physical training sessions. You're going for a steady state run and you cannot keep up. Then I think you should be disciplined and you should be punished for that. Okay, if you're not keeping up on exercise, you are struggling in fire manoeuvre, working around vehicles or whatever it is, when you're having to do resupplies with jerry cans, when you go on career courses, you always get the ones that are really right at the back with land navigation and physical training. If you're struggling in those areas, you should be disciplined, because this then goes on to the next one. You Britons face being called up if we go to war with Russia or any other sort of nation. The head of the army will tell ministers troop numbers are so low he would need to find more people if Putin's war in Ukraine escalated, and public's mindset must change so they are ready, because we are not ready for conscripts. We are not ready for that national service. No way. We're in a generation now where if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And that's just absolute rubbish. So people need to be aware that there is a lot of conflict going on at the minute, and it needs to be sorted within the UK. Like, our numbers are too small. We've got a recruitment issue, we've got a retention issue, and as you've just seen, we've got an unfit, medically unfit, physically unfit issue. Our soldiers are not up to standard, some of them. We have a really good soldiers, by the way. This is not everyone, but there are a lot of them that are just not up to standard. We can't retain them, which should be a big one. The army, for some reason, concentrates a lot on recruitment, but I feel they do not do enough for retention. And it's going to cause this Gen Z population and others to be called up to go to war against Russia. I think it's quite bad at the minute, because the mindset of the population and the civilians nowadays, to 70s, 80s, even the 90s, is completely different. And people have asked me before, should we have national service? And I said no, because I don't want to be working with someone who really doesn't want to be there and hasn't got the mindset for it. And even if we did have a massive all-out war, I think we would struggle to get the numbers like we did, say, World War One, World War Two, because there's just today's population, not everyone, but a lot of them just don't have that mentality. So what they're saying is the chief of the British Army is set to warn Brits that they could be called up to fight. General Sir Patrick Sanders, Chief of the General Staff, will stress the need for ministers to mobilise the nation in the event of a wider conflict against Russia amid its invasion of Ukraine. His warning comes nearly 2 years after he said that Britain was facing its 1937 moment, a reference to the 2 years leading up to the Second World War. That's what I memean. Honestly, comment below with what your thoughts are of this. Do you think, as a nation, we are ready for people to just be called up? Like, not that, veterans, ex-soldiers, reserves. I'm talking people with no experience at all. Go and do your 2 years. Go and get your training to make sure you're all trained, ready to go just in case you have to go to war. I don't think we're at that stage. I think there are a lot of people that could easily do it, have the ability, but we've also got a lot in this population now, in this day and age, that we would struggle. General Sir Patrick, who has been openly critical to staff shortages in the military, believes there should be a shift in the mindset of the public who would be willing to defend the UK against foreign adversaries. He's right. There is a critical staff shortage within the military, and the government need to stop these cuts. Me personally, we've seen what's going on in the news recently. There's always a chance that the Afghans and Iraq could kick off, but in a different type of setting. You've got Russia, you've got Israel and Gaza kicking off. Iran are always floating about, and there's lots going on. But while the army head, who is standing down in 6 months after allegedly falling out with Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, the overall chief of the armed forces is not thought to be in favour of conscription. NATO bosses have warned allied nations to be prepared to take any and all actions necessary to fight Vladimir Putin's forces. The overall Chief of Armed Forces is not thought to be in favour of conscription. Well, you need to be. If you are the Chief of the Armed Forces, you need to be willing to call up everyone and anyone if you need to. If it kicks off, you've got to be willing. How can we have someone who's in charge and not willing to do that if the worst ever happens? It's sad times for the military, from where we've been in the past to going through Iraq and Afghan. We've got some absolute brilliant units, brilliant soldiers, but with the physical and mental condition of some of them, and then the cuts. Yes, we're getting a lot of new equipment, but we don't have the number of equipment we need. We do not have enough tanks, artillery pieces. Yeah, we're spending all this money on new bits of equipment, but we just don't have enough of it to go to war, and we do not have the personnel. If it all does kick off, do they have enough? No, they don't. And it needs to be sorted. And it's good that General Sir Patrick Sanders is talking about this and he's warning them. And hopefully they keep having this discussion and something gets done about it. Let us know what your thoughts are. Would you be willing to go? Do you think the majority of the civilian population would be willing to join up now if an all-out war kicked off? Let us know your thoughts. Remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications bell on, and I'll see you soon.